So in this video, we will be cleaning up our production website as well as integrating with MarginFi. Okay, so the biggest issue that we need to fix is in production. Nothing's working, right? We have these buffer errors. Right. If we try to call any contract, we just get reach maximum depth for account resolution. And usually that means that the seeds are wrong, and they're not, because it works just fine locally if we're going to do that. Like everything works and while it pops up. So, yeah. First thing, we have this warning here locally that says buffer has been externalized for browser compatibility. That warning does not come up at all in production. And yeah, the way that we get rid of that locally is inside of our vite.config.ts file. We just need this portion of code right here. Just refresh that. That go. We also have to install, but yeah, .es build this whole thing npm install or install, and yes, that will fix the warning, that buffer warning locally, but it won't fix any of those issues with the contract not working. And there was no warning in production anyway, but I'll just quickly show that. So I'm sure I showed this somewhere already before, but showing this again in compute workers in our project. Had to click that, create deployment, and drag our newly built distribution folder down. And yeah, this shouldn't really change anything with in production because there was no warning there anyway. But yeah, just to show that there's no difference. Can't call contracts, and yeah, I'm not working. Hit it with empty cache and hard reload, and still has the same problems with the reached maximum depth for account resolution. And it's not even able to listen properly at this point. So we go to our other lines, this one, which is the more important one. Yeah, draw issues and the maximum depth resolution issue. We should fix that. And yeah, we just need to install this node polyfill roll up, or this plugin or whatever, and that was already installed. So we have that. And yeah, that changes nothing for us locally. We'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll try it. Okay, now after doing that, we still have our reference error buffer. But we can see our comments now. We can see our comments, and those come in just fine. And if we try to call a contract, it actually comes up now. Although, yeah, it shouldn't even be calling that. I mean, I know there's other problems, right? Yeah. The last thing that we have to do, chat protocol, we need to replace anywhere where we did buffer.from with a string with this new text encoder.encode, which I had, kept both of them because I wanted examples of both of them. But yeah, now I see the buffer ones just call it causing issues. And where we had buffer in our .toArray like, with little Indian bits, 16. We get the 16 from, this is a post index 128 divided by 8 is 16. That's how you get all of these numbers. But anyway, yeah, you just go ahead and do a replace on that. So buffer.from Control Shift H to do the whole directory that you're currently working in. We want to replace that with this. That and this thing dot array to like. They're all little Indian bits. We know they're all a dot to array like. Not all necessarily pull indexes. So we stop there. And we just want to replace that with this. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, so once we get this up, this should fix everything so that the contracts are at least working exactly how they were working locally. Okay, so now on production, we have no errors. Okay, and we can. Yep, and that works. And we can see it. Cool. So you'll recall from the previous video that our SVG is broken in production, as well as our font, but it's fine now. And if we refresh, it'll still be fine. These SVGs are cached, and they're actually being hosted on this website called Upload Thing. They give you like 2 GB for free to upload things, and yeah, I had seen it in one of the videos that I came across in my research, but it's maybe not the best. Uh, back to it, it's fine. I have it muted. The music is also fine, but yeah, it becomes cached, and like in the CDN and stuff, or even in the web browser, and it's just there. But on first load, it's not. So that you can see if you come here and do a hard refresh, you see this, and the icon under the video loads in a little slow. But all of the SVGs have links now, right? And we go to this one. This still has to load in because you haven't been here yet. It's not a component. It has to go fetch the link because you need it now. And yeah, and you go to the next page. It does the same thing, not for the Ionic icon, and that's just because the Ionic icon is actually like actually an ion icon. Yeah, so it's just a probably just an inline SVG, I'm guessing, since it was so fast. And you keep going, and the same thing keeps happening. So you can make that not happen by turning all of SVGs into actual view components, basically, right? So now they're icons, except for that Ionic icon, right? That's the only one that's gonna stay. But aside from that, everything else is now just an SVG. So now we go back. You go back, do a hard refresh, and now we go through it. It won't be that way. Now everything's just loaded when the page loads in, and you're not waiting for stuff to come in. So that'll be a better user experience. I would say that these in the home button probably aren't as important because they come in the first time and it's not needed like when you're coming in. Same thing for the right for this one, right? Which I think is already fixed, but same thing for here. But yeah, anything that comes in needs to be fixed. Have the same problem with the font, but the font's been turned into an SVG. This seems better. It seems like you can also put the font and the videos and stuff inside the public folder, but you could run in it could be expensive because that's essentially what it's started on the CDN and what users will be asking for, but it makes it um, more readily available for the users. But the public folder is here. It's also where this icon comes from. So when our website gets uploaded, it gets this icon. We can replace that. I don't think the size matters, but we should just be able to replace it with a PNG. But you can put, from what I saw online, you should be able to put fonts and pictures and SVGs in here, and then that would have worked, possibly, as opposed to the links that were just somewhere else, I guess. But the assets, I guess, should go on there, and they need to be accessed by the user like that. But yeah, just turning them into SVGs seems to be the most efficient way, right? It's the inline, simple, direct way inlining large can make templates. Uh, Let me see. Directly into the page, reducing the number of requests, right? Because there's no link you have to go grab, and it's just faster. Optimize rendering, better control, and you can feed in colors to a link too if it was an SVG. But yeah, it just seems better. One other thing I wanted to mention for the inline SVGs, like for the ones that need to, change color, you can just, like for the Apple SVG, we're filling in the fill property, looking at the dark theme, or you were either going in black or white or black, I mean. So that's pretty simple to get by, but I know we hadn't done anything like that, so just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, so let's talk about replacing our favicon, is what it's called. There's this website called favicon.io that you can use. Love the extension. Anyway, if you want, your favicon to be transparent, you should make sure that it's transparent first, right? Use something converted. Yeah, I can also include that in the sources. And yeah, the favicon is in the public folder in here, right? And when you build the project, it gets thrown in here as well. So it it gets used by the main website as well. It gets used in other places, but we'll get to that. But anyway, inside of the index.html file, this line, what if I come to this folder? Yeah, and the website gives you nice sized ones. Like if you look at the old one and the size of it, it's not more than 4 kilobytes. And I think that's like the standard size for favicons. But you can do like a .ico as well, but the PNGs are supposed to be higher qualities. And this website will give you nice sized ones. That'll be 4 kilobytes. This is one that I just took from a JPEG and made transparent. It's like 91. It's way bigger. So we'll use this one. And throw that in there. And that loads. .png. Okay, and now there's a little woofer. So now if we go ahead and build this, I'm going to go throw this back in here. I guess I'll leave that there for now, but if we build it, we should be able to get that there, and then we can see it somewhere else. So I'll go ahead and build it, and then we can look at that. But I guess we'll also show how to redeploy. I don't think I've shown that yet. Okay, so when it comes to redeployment, when you come here, you can go to project, and you go to create deployment. And we're still just working in production. It's in maintenance mode, don't see anything. And then we built our distribution folder again. We just drag it down. This is only 64 megabytes. It's not very big. And we save and deploy. So it's up here. I wonder if the icon will change on its own or if we have to refresh. Probably have to refresh. There's nothing else that I see works on its own unless I refresh. Refresh. Is that enough? Oh, there it is. So now we have our favicon on our actual website. Okay, and let's see. If we try this, something else I need to talk about. I had already. This was not working. Oh, well, that's not working. Huh. I wonder. Empty the cache and do a hard reload. Let's see. Okay, it's working, and it's too black to see. Okay, it works. So, and I don't think that you can switch between them. So I think I'm gonna just do the white one, which won't look as good here. But this is what people are mostly going to see. So it just has to be the white wolf. So we'll have to change that. Okay, now in order to get this white one, I basically just took, the SVG that had no fill in it, how we had removed the fill, took it, filled it with white, and saved it. And the converter actually took that. It took the SVG. They took an SVG file, and it worked just the same. So I did that on the local host. Just need to drag the files. I do think the black one obviously looks better than the white one since the background's so light. You see like some of them have like kind of backgrounds. Like Uniswap has like a pink square, PigSwap has a blue circle behind. Could potentially put like a black um square, not too square, kind of like with rounded edges or whatever, or a circle sort of. That would be fine. So let's go ahead and get our new distribution files. And go ahead and see what it looks like for transactions. Okay, it was hard refresh. Swipe, empty the cache. Go on here, trying again. I still see the block one. Why? Was it not empty hard enough? Yeah, makes no sense for it to be able to grab it. Oh, come on, I was already trying to make my videos longer. Well, I still see the black one. There's something wrong. Okay, so what I think was happening was that the website was probably taking what was in the public folder since the favicon was there. I have nothing in the public folder now, but probably caching it on the CDN or the Cloudflare CDN, and that's why I couldn't get rid of it. But changing the name and making it refresh another one, not using the same name fixed it. Now I'm not even doing that. I'm just hosting it on the Upload Think website. Um, the 32 by 32, when you would call it in the wallet, it was blurry. So I'm just using a higher resolution one. And this even works on the local host. Before, not even the Ionic emblem would appear in local host when you called it. But yeah, it appears in local host now. Uh, and it seems like it's just working with the link. So maybe that's the wallet seems to prefer the link when it's in localhost, but it also works on the actual website as well. And like I said, the smart one, it was blurry. It's given a nasty resolution on it, but this one looks way better. So yeah, way better. So I'm just gonna do that. Might change it to put a black circle on it later. Not too worried about it now. I think it looks fine. This is what people will mostly see anyway. When you're on the website, you can't hardly see the tab anyway. But yeah, I think it's fine. But we'll deal with that later. Okay, so the next thing that we want to deal with is concerning the amount of requests that we make to, at this moment, api.devnet.solana, but it'll be mainnet once we're in production, right? This is the production website, but the contract we're using is on DevNet. But anyway, there is some issues like moving between pages once you move too much and stuff, and it says you get this 429 error, which is too many requests, basically. And yeah, you can make more requests. This is just like asking for everything and like the comments and the comment sections and the chat accounts. And the request rate in mainnet is higher, but yeah, we should try to not have these error on DevNet so that the user doesn't have these problems, because this is IP specific, so it's for each user and they're making requests when they're visiting the website, basically. But just as an example of something that we can fix, like we have like our function to check if the comment section is initialized, we have the add comment component checking and the video like it's checking, but instead we can have a global state for the comment section, right? Where we only do it once, and then we might only do it again when we move to another comment section. Could potentially just grab all of them because there's only a finite number of comment sections, but maybe try the smaller approach. But that sort of thing, like all throughout the code. I know it's all throughout the code that I can, make improvements like that, and then there won't be as many requests, and we get it to be, nice and DevNet, then we'll know that once we get to mainnet that it should be it's pretty smooth sailing. So that's the next big hurdle. So I'll be working on that. And as far as I can tell, it's only for when you do a fetch account. I mean, the .alls as well, but if you're just setting up a listener, that doesn't seem to trigger this. So we just need to control when we're fetching. Okay, so I have thoroughly gone through the code and made it so that under normal use, especially right now with not much going on, there's no too many request errors. Clicking through all of this is fine. It's just grabbing the comment section each time, right? And nothing else. And I made it so that if there's something that I could fetch just once, I did basically. Let's say YouTube error, Reddit video. Now, if you're jumping in between areas that have a lot of requests really fast, it's possible to still have issues though. But it's definitely way faster. There's something and it's triggering. And it goes 500 milliseconds. It's half a second, 2 seconds, and 4 seconds. And if it doesn't work, then you get the too many request errors problem, and then it would basically fail. And I have already wrote something to fix that basically. So, it seems like the suggested solution for that is just to wrap your request in some retry logic basically and just have functions. So instead of just having these lines, which is just, I think if I go to the top here, these are all common. You just had this, but now it's a bit more complicated where you have, well, I don't have that. That's not good. No, grab that. We have the max, retry, like the max retry fetch. How many times you want to retry fetching the data? I think I put all that in sleep. Should have kept that here. Which I just have 10 at the moment, and I have 11 seconds. Anytime you even get, like if you go to network and I guess we need to actually get a failure, but yeah, you get these you get these failures, and it just does retry after, and this is in seconds. This is a response telling you how long you should wait, which is always 10 seconds, regardless of what it is, it's 10 seconds. And this is based on IP, right? So if you keep calling it without waiting 10 seconds is basically just resetting the timer. Yeah, basically. Um, and yeah, and those errors you can't really do anything about because these are like these down here. These are responses, basically from this API.devnet. It's not directly from the code, so you can't actually catch these errors. The final error when it gives up, because it's basically just spinning and trying here until it eventually fails and you get another error. So let's go ahead and try to make that happen. All right, we come here, we got comments. Come here, we got comments. Come here, getting errors, but let's go a little harder. That should be enough to go over the 4 seconds, I think, hopefully. Yep, and then you get this one. We do that, and then we get, see, and then now we just got them. See, we just got them. You're clicking around too fast for my budget website. Just basically makes you wait 11 seconds just to be safe. Assuming, yeah, assuming you're not moving, make you wait 11 seconds. Yeah, print out that message and make you wait, and then we retry again up to 10 times. And this makes it more sturdy, but yeah, the spinning with these you can't do much, and you can't like silence this either. But yeah, you can definitely make it robust. So like if we keep going and it's like way too much and ridiculous, give it one more and see how long it actually takes. Because all of these just make it reset, and it's make it reset because it hasn't been 10 seconds basically. And you still got more going off, being angry. But yeah, it'll probably take a while. Mm. But maybe if I had it increasing in between, maybe it would actually stop that. Like as the tries go up, you multiply it by 2 or something. So, which there's a word for that. It's like exponential backing off or something. Exponential back off, which is something you could do. You basically increase the timeout amount each time based on I, which we could do. Could definitely do that. Just be retry timeout times I plus 1, I guess. I plus 1 times 2. And that might potentially work better, which you could try, but I don't know. The point is that it will eventually load in. I guess I might just do that, but yeah, eventually. Um, so the site's more stable now on DevNet, so we should be pretty good. I think more, I mean, on mainnet beta is what it's called, allows for more requests, but not only that, apparently you can, buy other RPC services, so you wouldn't have to use DevNet or mainnet. There are other ones that you can buy that have higher rates, I guess, if you needed to like scale, I guess, because apparently mainnet won't cover like something really really big if there were a lot of customers and a lot of data. But I don't know, like with the fees and stuff, like yeah, I mean yeah, it's kind of made to be a little scalable, but yes, that's one of the things that might have to be addressed would be buying an RPC service that would increase the amount of requests, but that is basically it. Okay, so I've been messing with the sound effect files to basically make them a little crisper, mostly just cutting off stuff from the front of them so that they would, it would seem more responsive and the sound would play a little quicker. It's even worse when you're like hosting the sound and then playing it because it has to fetch it the first time. But after that, it's fine. But anyway, I've been doing that to try to make it better, and you can see Edge is much more responsive. And that's fine. We can see Brave. And this is localhost, but it doesn't matter. This is Edge. You probably know it's coming next. This is Firefox. Yeah, you can see Firefox has these annoying sounds on it. And it seems like MP3s, like especially small MP3 files, can have issues. I don't know why Firefox has to have extra issues, but anyway, it seems like an easy way to get past that is just to use WAV files instead of the MP3 files. The WAV files are way bigger though, way bigger than the MP3 files, but they're of higher quality. But we're not keeping them in the we're hosting them and they're being served up this way. We're not serving them from our site. The CDN probably would take care of it just fine, which I might still consider doing. Just I'll have to see, and I think it might still be completely free on Outflare up to a certain point or whatever. But yeah, we'll just have to see how well it works. So we replace all those. Try again. And now Firefox. Yeah, you see that first sound? Well, I mean, you can't tell, right? There's a lag between my voice and this sound, but now there's no weird extra noises. The WAV file has higher quality, so I'm just gonna do that to try to provide a better experience for the Firefox users. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to go over, a bug that I ran on testing out the production website on my mobile phone, is that zooming out wasn't working, and for Ionic projects, you actually have to, having the user zoom on mobile is disabled by default, whereas as user scalable, you just have to turn this from no to a yes, and so the initial scale is 1 and the minimum scale is 1, but for the maximum scale, we can just turn that to a 5, and that will allow the user to zoom in at least 500%. It seems like lowering the minimum scale does not allow the user to zoom out anymore, so you can just leave that as a 1, but that's pretty much it. Okay, so I learned some really important stuff about the logging. So I just want to go over that real quickly it does cost money to have this logging in here, and it is actually permanent. and you can see it in the Solana block explorer, and yeah, I think you can even pull transactions from the Solana block explorer if you save them. But I mean, the point is that it's actually saved, I guess. So let's just go over that and work an example. Refresh this. I've updated the code to help in this explanation. And then again, new test. Come over it again. Posting that. We know that everything is basically an account in Solana, has a PDA, account number. So if you have this, and I made it so if I edit it, once I hit the save button, it'll print out the PDA right there. Okay, I don't have to actually do it, but if you go to the Solana Explorer and we throw in the PDA for that comment, it has one transaction for it, which is the transaction that made it exist, right? That's the one transaction it has. So if you go all the way to the bottom, you can see the logging. And yeah, new comment posted, reply account. Yeah, this is like the total number. But anyway, like this Unix timestamp with this number, there's already a timestamp on it. There's absolutely no reason to do this, paying more money for that, like down to the comment index. I think that's already gone. But yeah, just stuff like that we don't need. We could put a button on a comment so that people could see it. So I guess let's go ahead and keep going so that we can see other things as well. So we can confirm that edit, and let's give it an upvote. I also updated the logging for the fees as well, and that takes a moment. But yeah, also talking about it, like don't need the timestamps, and like when we edit or delete, we do not need to log what the old message was because it's already logged when it's created. So you're basically logging it twice. When we created, it's logged, so there's logged, so there's no point in doing it when it's edited or deleted. So, all right, now if you go back here, there was one transaction, and this can take a little bit sometimes, but should be ready now. Now there's three. Let's go to the vote one. You can see our fee logging and stuff. I had to update that, but we can see transferred 3 cents to the treasury and 1 cent to since it was an upvote, 1 cent to the post owner. But the post owner is voting for their own comment, so it's really only 3 cents. If we look at the transaction here, that's why it's like, yeah, it was only 3 cents. But yeah, and this is these are the associated token addresses, which are not the public wallet addresses. These are the public wallet addresses. So I think this logging is worth keeping for people to see. I think that might be nice for people, so I'll keep that. But the other stuff definitely needs to be just ripped out. And so far, it's already making a big difference. But I'll go through all of it, and I'll let you know what the difference in price. I can tell you that the difference in price just from updating this stuff, because I actually needed a second function for that, because there's actually two different addresses. There's your treasury address, right, and then there's the post owner address. So I had ended up making a second function, and it only ended up costing me. It went because the price has been going down. It went from 0.72 to 0.76, so like 4 cents a soul. So not that much. I think that's fine. It was 26 something before, and it's still going down. So yeah, just knocking on the prices. I think that this is very important. I think I've already saved like 1 soul so far. Before I forget again, I don't think that we covered fixed point notation at all in the tutorial or in the smart contract is where it would have been, but that was mostly in the tables and stuff, I think, and when money was involved. So I don't think that's come up at all, and I realized that this is like what this was, and I didn't like added some comments to it, right? But basically, um, computers are not very good at dividing decimals and stuff. So like if you have something that's like 30 cents, you multiply it by 100, which would make it 3,000, right? So you just make the number bigger, and then you can divide it while it's bigger, and then when you need to display it, you make it smaller again. You multiply by 100 basically, and that's basically all we're doing here. These underscores do nothing. The compiler does nothing with these underscores. This is just to make it easier to read. It kind of serves as a comma so that you can makes it easy to read apparently. But that's basically what you're doing. So like if you had this, it's basically it moved over 6 places, so that's why it's like 30,000. And when we have to display it again, we have to kind of undo the fixed point. So multiply it by 6 zeros again to come back out of it because USDC is 6 decimals. But yeah, and that kind of, I mean, yeah, that's basically how it's working. I hope that makes sense. But you're basically taking decimals, getting rid of them when you're dealing with them or doing any sort of math. You don't have decimals. Only when you're displaying them should you have decimals. And that's basically it, because computers aren't too good at dividing things. They're not too good at dividing decimals and stuff. So when it's a whole number and it's simple, it's better for the computer. Or rather, what I should say is that when computers divide, it's actually an approximation, I guess, and I guess that's more the problem. Okay, so I am done cleaning up the messages. I believe I already talked about the increase in price, adding in the fee logic. But now I cleaned up the messages, and it's basically gone down by 1 sol, pretty much. Yeah, basically, just a little short. But yes, and I've also added in these buttons that will just take you straight to the account for the posts. So we do another one about reply to reply messenger. Get that out. Got the new one. We click it. It opens the account in the Solana Explorer. Gotta wait for that first one. I'm not sure. Refresh. There it is. Let me look at that. Go all the way down to the logs. Yeah, then we can see it. New about chat level 3 reply message, about reply to reply message, user address, and yeah, so now people can just come here and they can see all the transactions for their posts and stuff. So, yeah, can't hurt anything, just more features. So, okay, so another thing that we can clean up is that we don't have any security.text. We come over here in the Explorer, it says security.text helps security researchers to contact developers if they find inside of your cargo.toml file, the one that is close to the lib.rs file, not the one that's not the outer one that's like part of the project, not this one. But in dependencies, you got to add this Solana dash security dash text version 1.1 seems to be the latest. And inside of your program, all you have to do is you got to have this using statement to actually use it. Use Solana security tags, blah, 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 and get that library, cargo package, whatever. And then, yeah, I pretty much just got this from AI. This is the standard format they use. Got the name of the project, the URL, the contacts, preferred languages. I wonder if you could just like put any property in here and just fill it in. Maybe put anything in here. Could maybe test that. Let's see. Food. Mm, burrito. Burritos, and we will see how that works. So we'll try building it, deploying it, and we'll see what happens. Okay, got an error because I don't have the policy field, which I don't really have a particular policy. Shoot, damn, I wanted anybody policy. Policy. It'll just be email command thanks something for. There we go. So now it should be fine, and then we'll see if that's okay. Just build it again and, upgrade it when it finally comes to make because the contract is upgradable. You can just build it again and deploy and not upgrade it, basically. I haven't really run into anything that seems to break it, and even changing variable names and stuff seems to be pretty resilient. So that makes me feel better, but yeah, eventually you need to undo that, and you can do that with this command, Solana program set upgrade authority, the program ID. program ID up at the top, and dash dash final, and that'll make it non-upgradable anymore. So that'll be pretty simple. But okay, let's go ahead and try this again with the policy, and hopefully this is enough. Okay, so now we have a security.text included, and I guess it's just down here, and there are no burritos, so that is just horrible. Which is really just a UI thing. I guess it is a part of the field, but whether or not the UI grabs that field and put it here, but I don't know. Yeah, whatever. They could have just displayed all the fields, but I guess they're just doing some of them. If I want those burritos, yeah, whatever. I was just testing it out, right? Being stupid. Okay, so yeah, and they got links and take you right to the website. And so that's cool. Huh. Nice. And the repositories, cool. All right, so that's pretty much it for the security.text policy. Maybe I should be more specific about. Obviously, if you find a bug, so you're supposed to email me and say something. Look, this sounds general, but that was the whole point of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so something else that we have to do is we need to switch our, we've been using the config ID JSON, this key pair, which I've shared before. We started out there, the same key pair for the public key, but we're going to want to use our ledger, our cold storage hardware wallet instead, and there is a command for that, and this just connects it to the to your ledger that's connected by USB, and it just uses the first account by default. I think there's some other there has to be something else that you can do to use a different account, but the first one's fine. So if we do this, then I guess that works. So now it should be configured to deploy from our ledger, our first wallet in our hardware wallet in the cold storage hardware wallet. Okay. But yeah, if you want to go back to using that file, you just do this apparently. So yep, I'll just leave these commands and the sources. Why not? A bunch of commands. I think these were somewhere else, but yeah. Okay, so now that we've done that, we just have to build it again and deploy it, and then we should see a different authority. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try that. Okay, so ran into a couple issues. Was trying to deploy, and it was still using the old public key in the anchor.toml file instead of the wallet to the id.json file. You want to do the USB :/ ledger. You do that, but another problem is that it's basically not finding, like there's some other commands I found, Solana -keygen pubkey, and the USB stuff says no device found. There's some other commands as well where you basically just list the public keys of all of the accounts on the ledger. But anyway, yeah, not found. But the issue seems because, I'm using Windows, we're using Windows Linux subsystem, which is like a virtual machine of Linux. It's not, yeah, the USBs are really on Windows and it can't detect them. So, have, I guess, a solution for that. You install this USB ID in Winget. You can install that in a PowerShell. After you install it, you have to close it and open it again. You'll have to do that, and then you can use this list command, and then it'll show you all of your USBs. Let me try that again. So all the USBs, we can see the Ledger Nano right there. And to bind it, we want to use that command, which is like this, the space in the BUSID. That ain't right, I guess. Yeah, right click and paste. Okay, space, and that BUSID is 4-3, 4-3. Supposed to bind it. After that, we're supposed to attach it inside of a Windows command prompt. And they said, like, not as an not administration. So let's just go ahead and try. was just 4-3, wasn't it? Yeah, 4-3. Okay. And there's a way to detach it. But anyway, I don't know. They say run this inside of the WSL distribution, but there might be something else that we need for that. 'Cause I don't, yeah. That they want us to install USB utils for that, but let me see if we just do an angry deploy. Does it work now? No, still no device found. So let me see. Sudo apt install USB utils. Okay, I was able to get past that password part. I'm not sure if I even was asked for a password, but you can just reset it in Windows with the Windows command, just using these commands if you need to. Open the window, WSL-u root, and then password username. I just did FDR1 since that was a username, and then they just let you change it. And then that was pretty much it. So now that that is working and that ran, just have to say yes. Well, hopefully this fixes the USB problem, but probably not, right? Let's see. Oh, it's there. Oh my gosh, you see it? No, anchor deploy. What the fuck? It's there and it still don't work? Hmm. Okay, what about the other command? Still says no device found. What if I just need to open a new command window or something? Okay, now copy this. No, no, still not. What a different type of window? Bash. This bin bash. I guess that's pretty much it. No, I think that's like what was that? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Still not working. Can this can see the devices LSUS. Can see them, but why does it still not work? There's still something else, clearly. Guess we gotta ask AI. Say, after using and Windows subs, look, I can see the device listed now. I can see this, but I still get a when I use this command. The command, this one, I tried opening a new terminal. Oh, right. Okay, so let's make sure that I actually have my hardware wallet on and unlocked, because sometimes that does matter. Right, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be able to, let's see. No, it still says no. It still says no. Okay, so it seems like WSL has some HID device issue or something, but yeah, there's a lot of people in different forums having issues, and it apparently just doesn't really seem to work on WSL. But yeah, it seems like the best fix is just to be fucking using Linux, and yeah, that is coming eventually. But yeah, need to eat off one next. Yeah, but yeah, that would help. Aside from that, like, I mean, I just wanted the upgrade authority to be the same as the CEO wallet address, so there's no confusion. The public keys to be the same, but you can always pass the authority. Um, yeah, I guess that is a similar command to setting the authority to final and turning it off. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe when you turn it to a final, it actually removes it and it doesn't even list the name anyway. It becomes none. I guess I can verify that locally. Okay, so once you make it not upgradable with the final command, I'm just testing this on the local net. Went back, made it final, and yeah, it just says upgradable no, and there is no upgrade authority. I mean, there could be a history of the address that deployed it, but I guess that doesn't really matter. So I guess it doesn't really matter just deploying the contract with a key pair that you have on your computer. But yeah, I definitely want to keep the cold storage wallet stuff completely off the computer. The extra safe, so can definitely have one of my hot wallets for that. I guess that's fine, and I guess it's no point even worrying about it. I guess so. Yeah. Okay. So very minor. It's an aesthetic thing. So the ion text areas, not the ion inputs, but the ion text areas have very high placeholders, and yeah, tried a bunch of different ways of messing with it, but one surefire way is that you can target the padding of it specifically. You can use this, and yes, that puts padding on top of it, and then that'll make all of them centered, all the ion text areas. So yeah, so now we just got to center our emoji button, and it seems like I mean, just to let for other people's experience, like coming here and doing anything on it, even putting a div on it. Actually, sometimes putting a div on it can just make it act a little weird. That's not. Um, but yeah, trying to mess with the margin on this thing here, it is not no bueno. I mean, it's missing. It's right here. Booty button. See what that does. Sometimes you have to refresh it to see something lightly. But I thought yeah. See, it's gone. Can't put a div on it. You put styling on it, auto style, blah blah blah, margin, top, like 10px or something, and it doesn't listen. But anyway, yeah, still not centered. So just coming to the emoji button, and then you had to do it in one place. Just put some margin on the ion button itself inside of the emoji button, and that fixes it everywhere. And it's only in one place. So that centers that. Okay, something else, although this never came up during any of the current tutorials, but this is concerning the prime view library. It's the input number element, and this is in the submit claims component. And only the input number has this issue, not the input text or mask or anything else. But yeah, because we have this class formed input, and we have text align center, and all of them listen to it just fine, except for the input number. You see, it just goes, what? But yeah, I can't center them. The input number, the rest of them are fine. But the way to fix that on the input number, this is the only time we should be going center from the left. But yeah. Anyway, you do this to the input number, input style, text align center, and there. Now it's working. Okay, cool. And I've already made a minor setback video as far as integrating with my MarginFi's concerns, and I'm going to be doing that in the video potentially in the future, depending on what kind of response I get from them, there's still the issue of the scam site and their docs. But yeah, but that's an old site that was bought by someone else, so it could just all I could be being overly cautious. But I mean, they do have upgradable contracts, so there has to be trust. Has to be trust, right? So I think that will do it completely for the cleanup. So in the next video, we will do a walkthrough of the final versions of the contracts that are going up on the website. So I will see you then.